find some of the background noise to be challenging. Like sometimes it's like marketing, the marketing portion, things like that, or paperwork, keeping records, things like that. I'm not really good at that. One of my weak points is keeping really great records. I should not be an accountant or a librarian or anything that requires meticulous, nitpicky, record keeping, because you'd fire me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not good at that. So being that that's one of my weakest links, it's a struggle for me to maintain that, because you got to keep records. You got to keep records of your clients. You got to keep records of everything you do, especially when you're running a business. There's a financial side to it. There's a marketing side to it. And that's something I need to know. That's something I struggle with. But it's one of my weakest qualities. But I don't enjoy it, but it's necessary.
That is exactly true when it comes to business owner and everything else. But of course, people are willing to expand. You got the courses and everything else. And what do you consider your most memorable moment in podcasting?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I've done so many different kinds of podcasts over the years. And all of them are my favorite for different reasons. But when it comes to podcasting, one thing I did, every time we talk about something, I always end up mentioning another aspect of me. So I'm thinking right now, like, I used to have this podcast. We're going back 10 years now. And I'm going to make Core Confidence Life similar to this. But it was called Grown Folk Radio. We're talking about 10 years ago. It was a live show. I took calls. I talked politics, and I talked men's development, and I had guests, and I did everything else. So I just enjoyed that, and I enjoyed having my family on. At that time, I had just been reunited with my birth family because I was adopted.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time that I was hosting Grown Folks Radio, I was still a mentor to teens, and I had just found my birth family. So I used to just do shows and have them on. I had my brother on one show, had another brother on another show, had a sister on this show, and I let them tell their experience on meeting me. Even though I'm the one that found them, some of them didn't even know I existed before I found them. So I let them tell their experience about being reunited with their brother. So that was kind of interesting. I enjoyed that show, that Grown Folk Radio. So Core Confidence Life will be taking on more of the Grown Folk Radio form in some way. So.
It sounds amazing, too, and this just came to mind as well, too. And, of course, we're dealing with a current manhood issue and everything else. And there was a men's movement that went on back in the 90s, which had greatly improved. And do you think it took on more momentum after the men's movement in the 90s, or do you think it has decreased, or do you see a comeback when it comes to the men's movement?
Well, I don't think the men's movement went away. I think that you may be hearing more about it now because of the current culture. You have the current president who stated he wants to refight the culture wars. You have the Me Too movement. You have this phenomenon with toxic masculinity, which upsets a lot of men because they think it's an attack on masculinity. So because of all of these issues that are swirling, that concerns men and culture and life in this country, you may think that there's a resurgence, or you may be hearing about men's issues or men's groups a lot more, but I really don't think they went away. I think the news cycle ebbs and flows. I think men's groups have been doing the work they've been doing since they've been doing it, and yeah.
And of course, that's where the courses come in. And just a couple more things here with Dennis Sumlin. And Dennis, who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh, see, I have trouble choosing one. A lot of things influence me. I still listen to the radio people I grew up with, so they're still an influence. My clients also are influences on me. My guests that I have on my podcast are influences on me because I learn everything from everybody. Like, you can learn something from everybody. So when I have a guest on the podcast, they talk about things or struggles or incidents that either I've been through or even if I haven't been through it, you learn from it. It influences me. It influences how I see my role. It influences the things I hope to do for men. So my guests do, my clients do, because I watch them grow and learn. I get to know them better, what makes them tick, their personal issues, and watch them move through the process of self-growth. Like I said, the media, the radio personalities I listen to still influence me, even though I'm past the formative years. I have my own style, but they still influence me. So I'm influenced by everything I do, and it makes me a better person.
That sounds amazing, too. And what's the best advice you can give right now?
The best advice I can give anyone right now kind of goes back to a little bit of what we talked about earlier. Rebutting any negative aspects put onto you and focusing on what you have to offer that's positive. Remember earlier we talked about think about 3 good things about yourself. So jumping off of that, the one thing I can leave people with is question the negativity that's in your mind and embrace the positivity.
That is amazing. We will keep that in mind as well, too. And Dennis, just wanted to say a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic, and it was great talking to you. And I love to check out your courses, your podcasts, and everything else. And before we do so, tell everybody what's your upcoming projects and what is your website, and how can people contact you, and how can people enroll in your classes?
Well, CoreConfidenceLife.com is the website. If you want to get to me directly, it's Dennis at CoreConfidenceLife.com. Like I said earlier, to be a guest on the show, it's CoreConfidenceLife.com/guest. I made it easy for everybody. If you want to learn more about the one-on-one speaking coaching, CoreConfidenceLife.com/speak. So everything is easy. You want to be a guest? /guest. You want to speak? /speak. So everything is right there. You want to contact me? It's Dennis at CoreConfidenceLife.com. So everything is just pretty simple. Upcoming projects, just more of the same with the podcasts, with the courses. Is really there's nothing like huge coming over the horizon soon. It's just kind of more interesting podcasts.
That sounds amazing, too. And Dennis, just wanted to say you've been an amazing guest. Would like to thank you very much for your time. Looking forward to having you on again soon. And do us a favor, please keep up to date with your latest ventures, and look forward to having you on again soon.
No problem. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program and or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.